to Jason Kelce. He joins us every single Wednesday at this time. Obviously, it's been tough sledding for the Eagles lately, and Jason is, of course, with us every single Wednesday, and he's with us right now. All right, let's welcome the Eagles Star Center, Jason Kelce. Good morning, Jason.
Morning, Joe. How we doing?
We're doing all right, man. So how you doing, Jason? I mean, it's got to be tough, I imagine. You've been through it before. This one's a strange twist, unexpected, I think. How are you doing with, everything you guys are dealing with?
I mean, obviously everybody's frustrated and pissed off with how the last few weeks have gone. I've been through losing seasons before, winning season. I think the one that makes this one so frustrating is the fact that I think, the expectations and, where we saw ourselves being, even at the midpoint of the season, was in a much different space than where we're at right now. And, we're just not executing and playing with a good football team right now. I think at times, both sides of the ball have been playing well throughout the season. But, it's been a frustrating last, month, 5 weeks, however long it's been. The last 5 games really have not gone, the way we, wanted to go. It's not, we obviously had a great start to the season, but we're not executing well across the board. Offensively, a better day from a production standpoint, and I think we did some good things, but don't get it done at the end of the game, which is the most crucial part of it. And I think that's stuff that we did earlier in the season a little bit better. We handled the end of these games. We operated in crucial situations as a team, and just haven't done that recently in 2 out of these last 3 games. So, yeah.
So, Jason, how much could you tell that Jonathan Gannon really knew you guys with the way their defense played you? So how much harder did it make it playing against a guy who was familiar with your personnel?
I was interested to see how that went going into the game, and I didn't see too much different, to be honest with you, from what they were doing. Now, was there calls that were made based on what they knew about us? Potentially, but I think a lot of what we did offensively, we executed, to be honest with you. I mean, we punted one time. Mm-hmm. We could have done better in the red zone. But we didn't really get a lot of opportunities. I know that's not a great thing to say. We just didn't.
Yeah, there weren't many possessions in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had 20 plays in the first half, and I think half of those were a 2-minute drill. So, I think we could have done better with our opportunities. I know that. And I think, I thought there was, I think guys for the most part played pretty well offensively, but obviously in crucial moments we just didn't get it done. And the one punt was big. We had a chance to retain possession there and didn't come up with it. And then obviously the penalty at the end, putting us in behind the sticks with that last 3 plays really offensively to give them the ball back. That was a big one. So, yeah.
Jason, I wonder, you've been through just about all of it in pro football at this point. Do you draw on past experiences of climbing out of holes and at times not climbing out of holes? Like 2020, you guys never climbed out of the hole.
Yeah, of course.
2013, you did. You were 1-3, and you turned it around. Like, do you find, and do you message that to the guys? Like, guys, we can do this. I've seen it get dark before. We can do this.
Yeah, of course. You always draw on, your experiences, and you're doing everything you can to try and get things corrected, and everything that that will get things corrected. With this team, and I know everybody's tired of hearing this. I'm tired of saying it, but I keep coming back to the fact that, I just think that we have good players. I really do. I think that our coaches are really good, that we can get to a place where we can play a lot better than we have been playing. Again, that's what makes this one so frustrating in my mind, is that, I don't think that there's a lack of talent. I think that, outside of the 2 losses to Dallas and San Fran, all of these games have been within reach, and the other 3 losses we've had have been because of our own demise, which is frustrating by and large. So I think when you look at that, I think there's still optimism, and there's still things to look at as a player and as a teammate and as a coach that, despite this, I guess, what has happened over the past month, that there are still things that we can do, and that we can play much, much better than we have and compete with anybody on the field as long as we correct these things.
Jason, one of the things for me, and I think for a lot of people watching, it's been perplexing, is a run game which we had grown accustomed to watching dominate hasn't for really a while now. I mean, I thought it was almost like passing the ball to Kareem in the 80s for a sky hook. Like it was almost automatic.
Yeah.
Can you explain why the run game has been so much less efficient in really probably now about the last 2 months?
I don't know. We had a good day against the Giants. I'd have to go. I think there are a couple games, obviously, with Dallas and San Fran, where the circumstances of the game kind of take the ball out of the hand of the run game. I thought we did a decent job against Seattle, did a good job against New York. And then this past week, I think there was more there, and we just, for whatever reason, it just didn't click. I think, the run game is always kind of up and down, if I'm being honest with you. I think for the most part, we do a good job there. But obviously, we would love to be doing much, much better as a unit in that regard. I think it's hard to execute in the run game, and, it's not just 2 guys. I don't mean to make it sound like the passing game is easy, but, you have a good quarterback, a good receiver, and you get a one-on-one matchup, there's a high chance that guy's going to make a play. In the run game, it really takes everybody clicking and hitting everything together. I'd be lying to you if I said that I thought guys were playing bad. I really think up front guys are playing well. I think the tight ends are playing well. It's one guy here, one guy there, penalty here, mistakes, stuff like that I don't think has been necessarily, I don't think it's like this glaring thing. I just think it just really hasn't clicked the way it has before, where it's been this dominant. I guess, if that makes sense.
Jason, as a team leader, how often do you talk to A.J. Brown about the things that are troubling him, and how important is honest communication to football success?
It's huge, especially when you're in adverse situations and you're losing and frustrations are high, right? And
right.
It's not just support for me; it's support for everybody. And I think that's some of the things that I've emphasized and that we emphasize as a team, is to continue to communicate, continue to talk. Not any relationship, wherever you're at in life, is based on communication and open and honest discussion. And I think we have a great group. I know that AJ's being open and honest, and I think that's where you have to be, as is everybody else with their frustrations. And, your job as a teammate is to listen and to take that in. I've been on teams where that doesn't happen, and that's usually when things really start to go south. So, you have to be taking into context what everybody's feeling and going through, and expressing your ideas, concerns, whatever they are, and get to a place where everybody feels confident moving forward. And I think that.
Do you get that sort of input from a guy from Jalen Hurts? Like what we're talking about here is like that openness, and it is important to knowing what your teammate thinks. But with Jalen, it just doesn't feel like he's as expressive as most guys. So does it set up certain challenges in terms of that open communication when you've got a guy who is sort of more to himself?
Yeah, I mean, I think different guys are wired differently. Some guys are more introverted. Some guys are more extroverted. It's important for anybody, no matter who you are on a team, to communicate. And I would say that I think Jalen, is a very calm and composed player on the sideline, and he weathers his emotions extremely well, and that's an incredible strength, in my opinion, that he has. And I think that what may appear, I guess, to the outside as though he's not talking to his teammates in the middle of a game, or some of his answers, I guess, maybe in press conferences. I can tell you this right now, me and Jalen talk constantly. And we're always trying to communicate, especially throughout practice and the work week of preparation. And I think, we all get caught in moments where either frustrations or your own things that are happening in your head take you away from talking to guys. But I don't think that that's an issue with Jalen. I think that, and I think more importantly, I think Jalen isn't afraid to talk to anybody. You can't develop like these cliques or these certain people that you do talk to and don't talk to as a guy in that position or a guy in my position. Like, whenever you're in charge of communication and you're in charge of a leadership position within a team, you have to be able to talk to every different position group, guy in the team, head coach. You don't got to necessarily, I guess, try and iron things out with the practice squad guy, but you got to be the guy that is voicing what he thinks to the rest of the group, and he does it his way, and he does do it. I will say that. I think it's more of it's a different way than I do it, and in some ways a lot better, to be quite frank with you.
Huh.
And I think that's part of the great things about being on the team is everybody, kind of has their own way of doing that, and you grow to respect and appreciate the way that different guys do it.
Jason Kelce here, as he is every Wednesday at this time. Jason, let's big picture this within the confines of your career. A lot of us wondered after that game on Sunday whether you and Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham walked off the Link Field for the final time in your career. You haven't gone on the record about, what's going to be next year, but let me ask you this question. Do you know, with one regular season game left, do you know, even if you haven't announced it, do you know what your decision will be?
No.
Got it. Open-minded. And that's what you've been the last. And that's what you've been. And that's what you've been the last bunch of years, right? It's year to year. Is it a January, February, March thing every year? That's when you figure it out.
I think you'd have to look after everything's said and done, and really grasp where you're at. So, I don't feel comfortable worrying about that now or thinking about it. You just go through the season, and at the end of the day, you think about that afterwards. I think that's the healthiest way to do it. So I think, you doing it any other way is a distraction in some regards, and two, it's just not something that I don't think you're fully capable of being in the right either state of mind or frame of reference for. So, you're not that you're not ever thinking about it, but it's also, I can firmly say that, none of those decisions have been made as of right now.
Jason, good luck on Sunday, and good luck, obviously, trying to get this thing back on track, as in a week and a half, one way or the other, you're going to be playing in a playoff game. So good luck on all of it. Thank you, Jason. And Happy New Year to you, man.
All right. Happy New Year, guys. Hopefully
Happy
this
New
one
Year.
Gets going a lot better than the end of last one. All right.
You
See you
got it.
later, Joe.
All right, see you, Jason.
Thanks,
there he
Jason.
is. Eagles star center, Jason Kelce.